Bournemouth vs Fulham prediction, team news, lineups. Bournemouth resume their bid to avoid relegation from the Premier League when they welcome European-chasing Fulham to the Vitality Stadium on Saturday. Last season's top two in the Championship have experienced contrasting seasons in the top flight this term, with the Cherries currently languishing in 19th place in the table and the Cottagers sitting 10 places further up in 9th spot. Match preview. After ending a 5-game winless home run with an impressive 1-0 triumph over Liverpool, Bournemouth were condemned to their 15th Premier League defeat of the season when they lost 3-0 away against Aston Villa before the international break. No Premier League team have lost more matches 8, won fewer points 8 or scored fewer goals 7 than the Cherries since the World Cup break, and Gary O'Neill's men find themselves in a hotly contested relegation battle with 8 other clubs heading down the home straight. Despite their poor run of form over the last few months, Bournemouth sit only 1 point adrift of safety and could climb out of the relegation zone with a victory on Saturday. A draw, however, will likely see them remain in the bottom 3 as they possess the worst goal difference -29 in the division. Sharing the spoils has been a common theme in recent meetings with Fulham, as Bournemouth have drawn each of their last 3 encounters against the Cottagers, including a 2-2 draw in West London back in August. The Cherries have lost only 2 of their last 17 clashes with Fulham overall, and they will be confident of success on Saturday considering that they have accumulated 16 of their 24 Premier League points on home soil this season. Last season's Championship title winners Fulham were tipped by many to make an immediate return to the second tier this season. But Marco Silva's side are exceeding expectations and are battling to qualify for Europe for the first time in over a decade. However, the Cottagers' hopes of securing a top 7 finish were dented before the international break as they suffered back-to-back Premier League defeats against Brentford and Arsenal. And they now sit 3 points behind 7th-placed Brighton Hove Albion, who have 2 games in hand. It is fair to say that Fulham's most recent outing was an eventful one, as they were on the wrong end of a 3-1 scoreline against Manchester United in the FA Cup quarter-finals just under 2 weeks ago. A game they were leading before a minute of madness midway through the second half turned the game on its head, after Willian was shown a straight red card for handball inside the penalty area. Alexander Mitrovic, who had opened the scoring, was also given his marching orders after pushing referee Chris Kavanagh, while head coach Silva was another who received red for dissent towards the officials. Fulham's needless capitulation ultimately cost them a place at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-finals, and both Silva and Mitrovic have since apologised for their actions after being charged by the FA, with the latter potentially facing a lengthy ban greater than his current 3-match suspension. Considering the Cottagers are unbeaten in each of their last 8 games against teams currently sitting in the bottom half of the Premier League, Silva's side will fancy their chances of bouncing back from their disappointment at Old Trafford and beginning a strong run of form with a win over Bournemouth, with Saturday's fixture the first of 4 in succession against relegation-threatened teams. Team news. Bournemouth trio Marcus Tavernier hamstring, Junior Stanislas knock and Ilya Zabarnyi ankle are all doubtful and will all be assessed ahead of kickoff, with the latter still waiting to make his debut following his January move from Dynamo Kiev. David Brooks made his first Premier League appearance in 536 days when he came on as a substitute against Aston Villa 2 weeks ago after recovering from cancer, and the Welshman will battle with Dango Ouattara for a place in the starting lineup. Joe Rothwell could start his 4th successive game in centre midfield alongside Jefferson Lerma, with Philip Billing operating further forward just behind central striker Dominic Solanke, who scored and provided an assist in the 2-2 draw at Craven Cottage in October. As for Fulham, Mitrovic and Willian are both suspended following their dismissals against Man United, while Niskan's Cabano Achilles, Lavin Kurzawa knee and Shane Duffy calf remain sidelined with injuries. The absence of Mitrovic will likely see Carlos Vinicius lead the line, while either Manor Solomon or Daniel James is set to start on the left flank at the expense of Willian. The rest of Silva's starting lineup is expected to remain intact, although Tosin Adarabioyo will push Issa Diop for a place at centre-back alongside Tim Ream. Bournemouth possible starting lineup: Neto, Smith, Stevens, Senesi, Kelly, Ouattara, Lerma, Rothwell, Traore, Billing, Solanke. Fulham possible starting lineup: Leno, Tet, Diop, Ream, Robinson, Reed, Palhinha, De Cordovareed, Pereira, Solomon, Vinicius. We say, Bournemouth 1-1 Fulham. The absence of Mitrovic and Willian is a major blow for Fulham, with the former having scored just under a third of their Premier League goals this season, but the Cottagers will still believe they have options in attack to pose a threat to the leakiest backline in the division. Bournemouth, meanwhile, will hope to take advantage of Fulham's dip in form, although they may have to settle for a share of the spoils once again as they did 6 months ago. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.